I actually think Irreplaceable You did a lot of things well. It had one flaw. Unfortunately, that flaw was related to basically the core central conflict of the movie, so it was a pretty big flaw. So I'm going to spoil the basic premise of the movie. Since you find out the premise within the first minute, I don't think it's much of a spoiler. So we have Abby and we have Sam. Now, they're probably the strongest part of the movie. On their own, they're both very likable, and they have great chemistry together as well. Even their sickeningly sweet pillow talk moments. Oh, what would you do if I had halitosis? Oh, I'd destroy the olfactory receptors of my nose. And it's great because Sam, it's so interesting. I'll show a photo of the actor that plays him. In every other movie I've seen him, he's very rugged and he has a big beard. In this, they completely changed his look, and he really pulls off this nerdy, adorable, chic look. So they nailed the nerdy cute with Sam. God, he's adorable when she's like, you spend your life talking about protons and neutrons, and he's like, neurons, all indignant. It's a chemistry versus physics joke. And then Abby, I thought she's great as well. Very different. She's much sassier, spunkier when she finds out she has cancer. And the doctor is, well, we have options. She's like, any of those options not involve dying? It's just, you really do root for her, and she is relatable. So again, them on their own, really good. Them together, great chemistry as well. So right from the start, you had the potential for a really great love story. And the actress that played Abby, she was actually the lead in the new Cloverfield movie that came out. I liked her performance a lot better in this. I liked it a lot, and I loved how maybe the movie wasn't realistic, showing the physical changes that cancer can have, but I thought it did have great realism in showing all the little minutia of the things that you would have to go through if you found out you were going to die, but we don't often see on film. Silly stuff like her canceling her gym membership, and she says, well, I'm dying, what's the point of being in shape? And then kind of the over-enthusiastic sales rep, it's like, well, have you tried our classes? And she's like, no, I just want to cancel. Well, let me put you on hold. And it's just very funny, very true to life. When she decides she's gonna finally learn how to cook, she just barks into Siri, how do I cook a chicken? Her interaction with her mom, and her mom finding out, and then her mom blames diet soda, microwaves, all these things, trying to find something to blame. And her mom was played by the coroner off Law & Order SVU. I haven't seen her in a lot of stuff. It was very nice to see her. But now I'll get to the big flaw that I was talking about at the beginning. A huge part of this movie was Abby deciding that before she died, she was going to try to set Sam up with a future partner to try to stave off this slutty phase that he would go through, hooking up with all these trashy women. She was going to try to find an ideal partner. And you may think it's unfair for me to criticize this because there's a big article written about this and it caused a lot of buzz. So you can say, well, look, this is something that happened. Clearly, there was an article written about it. But I feel it was so weird and such abnormal behavior that most of us can't really relate to. They should have done a bit more to explain what her thought process was and at least kind of acknowledge that this is pretty strange and this is pretty weird, but we just snapped our fingers and then all of a sudden she was just engaging in this behavior and it seemed perfectly normal and no one was really questioning it, when I found this behavior to be incredibly abnormal and not something that most of us would do or would ever cross our minds. And it's such a shame because so many other things worked really well. Abby's relationship with Dominic, her chemotherapy nurse, it was so sweet. At first he's joking and he's making light of everything and you think, wow, this is so inappropriate and unprofessional, but then you realize how much he's putting her at ease and making her forget about what she's going through, and you realize how magical their relationship really is. And the support group I thought worked as well. All the characters were funny, their interactions. Kate McKinnon in particular as a kind of aggressive, I have my mantras and affirmations and yoga and I have my own theme song, like aggressively positive. They're all knitting and making crochets and yarn, or I don't know a lot about knitting, but the whole vibe of the support group, I don't know if it was realistic, I don't have much experience, but I did think it was very humorous and then also touching at times. And then both Sam and Abby, they had their best friends, and I thought these relationships were great. Merritt Wever, I saw her on Godless. It was amazing to see her in such a different role here. I thought she was really funny. Sam got the nerdy white guy with the cool black guy. That's always a winning formula. And then the friends at the end, they actually meet and kind of come together and instantly they have this rapport and get along. It's, a kind of cliche, but it was nice. And we got some really nice shots of the New York skyline, some cool music. There's a great Sharon Van Etten song that played at one point. And it's just such a shame. I feel like they had such a talented cast, really some good interactions. I just couldn't buy, I haven't even mentioned Christopher Walken was in this. He gave a good performance. I just wish they either had a different central premise or they kind of did something different and explained it more, because I just couldn't get on board with the basic idea of her being so committed to finding him a partner. And now I'll spoil, I guess, the ending and the big message. Like the ending, surprise, surprise, she realizes that she shouldn't try to find him a partner. Instead, they should enjoy what time they have left together. And I guess everyone goes through grief differently, and I could understand, some people, when they find out really bad news, they do really weird stuff, and maybe this is not that outside the bounds of strange behavior and strange ways that people cope. And I just wish, I don't know, I just didn't buy it. And I felt that it's a shame because I really wanted to like this movie, and I think I could have really liked this movie, but it wasn't a bad movie, but in the end, to me, it's somewhat forgettable.